I think the most important thing when you're buying a car and you're thinking about how you're going to finance it is to decide in advance how much money you actually want to spend. Because sometimes you might be offered car finance in a garage that might lead you to buy a more expensive car maybe than you planned to. There's a number of different ways that you can finance your car. Traditionally, a lot of people would use personal loans or maybe a loan from their credit union. So we'd really encourage people in the CCPC to go onto our website and have a look at the various personal loans that are available on the market and see what the rates are. You can then compare those to any car finance that you might be offered in a garage. I think the one thing about car finance in a garage, which is generally hire purchase or PCP, which is a personal contract plan, the APR and the repayments might look very low. The reason why they look low, and they are low, is because you have to pay a large deposit at the beginning and there's a large payment at the end, unlike with a personal loan where your repayments are exactly the same each month of the loan. So it's very important that you think about whether you want to have a large balloon payment at the end of the agreement, which might be 3 or 5 years. The structure of the PCP agreements mean that they're not for everybody, because unless you're absolutely sure of what your financial situation is going to be in 3 or 5 years, it can be very hard to know what you're going to do at the end of the term. But if you are someone who wants to buy a new car, it can be an option for you. They have a number of different parts to them. So the first is that you have to pay a deposit at the beginning. That's generally about 10% of the value of the car. You then have a monthly repayment over the term of the agreement, which is usually between 3 and 5 years. There are 3 main options at the end of a PCP agreement. One is that you pay the balloon payment, which is actually outlined in the agreement. And if you make that payment, then you become the legal owner of the car. The second option is that you just return the car to the garage. And the third option is that you might decide to go into a new PCP agreement in order to finance another new car. And there are a lot of fairly technical issues around that, because the amount of equity you have in the car, in the first car, depends on a number of issues, like how much mileage you've put in the car, whether there's been any damage to it, and also what car values are at the time. So there's a lot of variables there that it's very hard to determine in 3 or 5 years' time what your financial situation is going to be. So you have to think about those things at the time you're taking it out.